Welcome everyone, this is Kerjims channel. Now we are back to our episodes of two similar champions and comparison featured by Wild League of Legends versus the Mobile Legends Bang Bang. But before that, please like and subscribe to my channel and don't forget to click the bell icon so you will be notified to our new next episode video. Let's do this!
Teemo is a ranged champion with a number of builds, including mage, as well as physical or magical DPS. Teemo's passive is camouflage. If Teemo stands still for a few seconds, he becomes invisible. Any action from this state will remove the invisibility and give Teemo a temporary attack speed buff. Blinding Dart damages and blinds target enemy, rendering all basic attacks useless for a short time. I grab a point here at level 2 and max it last. Move Quick is a passive active ability. As long as Teemo has not been struck by a champion or turret in a while, he enjoys bonus movement speed. When activated, Teemo gains a much stronger movement speed boost that lasts a few seconds and is not interrupted by damage. I take Move Quick at level 3 and max it by level 13. Toxic Shot passively causes Teemo's basic attacks to deal bonus damage and poison the target. This poison deals extra damage over a few seconds. I max Toxic Shot by level 9. Teemo's ultimate is Noxious Trap, which places an invisible poisonous mushroom on the ground. Enemies who step over the mushroom cause it to explode, damaging and slowing surrounding enemies for a few seconds. Noxious Trap is placed on an ammo system. Teemo may store up to 3 mushrooms and place them in quick succession. As with all ultimates, I rank it at level 6, 11, and 16. Your very early laning should focus on harassing your opponent while last hitting. Always try to land a basic attack into Blinding Dart to whittle down your opponent. As Lee Sin comes into gank, I see he heads toward the bottom of the brush, so I head towards the top to cut off Akali's escape. As he runs, I hit a basic attack and Blinding Dart, then follow Lee Sin to the turret. Because I follow in, he jumps to me with Safeguard and lives with First Blood. As Akali returns to lane, I use the same playstyle. Each time she closes to attack, I tag her with Toxic Shot and Blinding Dart. Once she lays Twilight Shroud, I know she wants to attack me, so I stop her from triggering Mark of the Assassin with Blinding Dart. Every time she breaks out, I hit her with Toxic Shot again. I then stay out of range until her Shroud is about to end. I push in, taking her down with basic attacks and Blinding Dart. After Akali reaches level 6, she jumps me in lane. Blinding Dart prevents her from triggering Mark of the Assassin, and I immediately place a Noxious Trap and hide behind it to keep Akali away. As she runs, I chase into the brush, immediately dropping another Noxious Trap and tagging her with Blinding Dart. I keep attacking her and exhaust once the blind runs out, ensuring she can't deal enough damage as she dies to my poisons. Here I'm fighting Talon and Heimerdinger at top lane. I place a Noxious Trap in a place where I can fight and hold position. Standing atop the mushroom, I push into Talon with Blinding Dart and basic attacks, causing him to trigger my trap with Cutthroat and die immediately to Lee Sin and myself. As we push in on Heimerdinger, the enemy Lee Sin comes in, so I blind him and cause him to retreat. I take down Lee Sin with basic attacks and Blinding Dart, but unfortunately get jumped by Akali in the aftermath. With Madred's Bloodrazor, Teemo is an exceptional Baron threat. As we prepare to take it, I drop Noxious Traps in the routes our opponents must take to stop us. With the traps in place, I head in to start fighting. All I have to do here is keep attacking and watch 2 things: the movement of my enemies in the minimap, and green bubbles that Baron Nashor occasionally spawns underneath his attackers. You can see it here under Taric, knocking him up and preventing him from dealing any damage. Always make sure to dodge these attacks. Teemo is also an exceptional anti-assassin champion. In a team fight in mid, I spot Akali heading in. Blinding Dart and basic attacks completely stop her ability to kill Lee Sin. If it weren't for Soraka's wish, she'd have died to my Noxious Trap on the way out. Immediately after, I tag Talon with Exhaust, also stopping him from hurting my team until he flashes away to the low-health Evelynn. Right after that, the enemy Lee Sin comes in also looking for blood, but Blinding Dart stymies his aggression as well. Let's look over on Dominion now. Because I itemize for early games so much, 1v1ing an enemy Teemo at bottom lane is extremely easy. By positioning myself closer to the health relic, I kill him with 500 health to spare. Winning this fight allows me to take the enemy boneyard with ease. After capturing the boneyard later in the game, I get jumped by Nocturne. Nocturne's trap and blinding dart keep me from dying, and I create distance with flash and to move quick. He keeps chasing me to my capture point, so I hide behind 2 Noctis traps and tag him with blinding dart. He falls, and I make a run for the health relic, buying time until my team shows up to hold control of the point. Teemo's extreme mobility can also be used to save teammates. Here I respawn and see a Wakali about to be caught by Rammus' Powerball. I rush in with Move Quick and save the day, also killing Rammus and the enemy Teemo before the match ends. For runes, I take armor penetration marks, health per level seals, flat magic resist glyphs, and flat health quintessences. This setup is aimed at giving me a lot of power early and turning into a very durable champion late game. My masteries are 9-20-1-0, taking magic penetration and offense and heading all the way down the defense tree, taking everything but dodge. I take exhaust and flash for summoner spells, mastering the former in the offense tree. I max Toxic Shot right away, adding a point in Blinding Dart at level 2 and leaving it there. After Toxic Shot, I max Move Quick before taking more points into Blinding Dart. Maxing Toxic Shot gives me the most consistent damage output, while the 1 point in Blinding Dart still gives me enough blind to force enemies away from me. In Classic, I open with the Doran's Blade, adding more throughout the laning phase. I typically take Mercury Treads and work up to Madrid's Blood Razor as my first major damage item. I then add Frozen Mallet, Malady, Wit's End, and Atma's Impaler to flesh out my build, giving me a lot of durability and great damage output. In Dominion, I open with a Prospector's Blade and Boots of Speed. I upgrade immediately to Mercury Treads and work on Sanguine Blade. I build for kiting with Phantom Dancer and Frozen Mallet, finally adding Last Whisper and another Phantom Dancer to round out my build.
Teemo the Swift Scout is armed and ready. Using an arsenal of sneaky tricks, he'll zip around the map and pester the enemy to a slow and surprising death. Never underestimate the power of the Scout's code, or the history of Teemo.
His passive is called Guerrilla Warfare. This grants Teemo invisibility if he stands in a bush for a short amount of time. As long as he remains in the bush, he'll stay invisible. When he breaks stealth, he'll gain bonus attack speed for 3 seconds. He can also just stand still anywhere, which basically turns Teemo into a ward if wards tried to kill you and talked a lot of shit. His first skill is Blinding Dartum. Dennis, you spell dart with an M in your script. His first skill is Blinding Dart, which deals decent magic damage and blinds a target for 2.5 seconds, causing an enemy to miss all of their basic attacks. A pretty versatile spell, this can prevent an enemy from getting a last hit, harassing them out of lane, or generally annoying them as you follow up with even more damage. His next ability is Move Quick. This passively grants Teemo bonus move speed if he hasn't taken damage in 5 seconds, and activating this will double his movement speed for a short burst. It's a fairly basic skill. This will make it so that you either run away from an incoming gank or catch up to a target to finish them off. Following this is Toxic Shot, a passive ability that causes Teemo's basic attacks to deal bonus magic damage and apply a poison to a target. The poison will deal magic damage over 4 seconds, and hitting the target again will refresh the duration. Teemo's ultimate ability is Noxious Trap. This allows Teemo to hold up to 5 shrooms, which can be thrown down and stealthed for up to 5 minutes. While active, the mushroom will provide a small amount of vision, and if an enemy happens to walk over one, it will detonate, dealing damage, poisoning enemies in a radius, slowing them, and grinding side of them. Also, you can kind of bounce them off of each other, which is cool. I don't really think it's useful ever, but hey, look at it go. This spell is what makes Teemo so dangerous. He turns the entire map into a field of lurking death. You're most likely gonna run into more of these than you expect. And if it's not a trap that kills you, it'll be the boy himself. Whether you end up walking through a forest of exploding shrooms or die to a lone trap on the opposite side of the map, you'll end up suffering the most powerful CC of them all.
According to the article, Teemo came about as a result of wanting to have a diverse cast of characters. Alongside the terrifying badasses, the development team wanted more underdog champions to balance out the roster. Through Teemo, the concept of Yordles were born, and with that, Runeterra would be run rampant by the furry little critters. Since the early days of League didn't have defined roles in mind, the designers simply wanted Teemo's gameplay to be unique. They ended up with the idea of a character who could go out scouting and lead the way for his teammates, which included a passive that would make his allies faster, a 6-second disable, and even a tactical nuke. But we'll get to that later. In a Reddit thread on November 2012, a user by the name of Infinite Vox claimed that the inspiration for Teemo came from an original hero he made on the old Play Dota forums back in 2006. The skills were allegedly lifted from a hero he created called Wicket, the Big Game Hunter, whose skills, Bear Trap and Hunter's Camo, bear resemblance to Noxious Trap and Guerrilla Warfare respectively. It's hard to make heads or tails of this since it's pretty much impossible to confirm the validity of the statement at this point, but it's an interesting piece of information that recontextualizes the origins of the champion. Teemo's backstory has gone through a fair bit of revision, mostly due in part to his infamy in the League of Legends fandom and the ever-changing tone and atmosphere of the game. His first lore blurb came out in March 2009, which paints the Swift Scout in a lighthearted manner. He was the captain of the Vandal City Scouts and the foremost defender of the Yordle homeland. In addition to being a scout leader, he also had adorable pastimes, including planning the Soapbox Derby, teaching new recruits the Scouts Pledge, and judging the yearly s'more eating contest. Despite this, he was a fearless leader and he joined the League of Legends to act as an emissary of the Yordle Nation. His lore was given a Grimdark reboot in October 2009, painting him as an unstable killing machine. Rather than protect the borders of Vandal City, the Teemo here actively ventures out to destroy its enemies, and his sociopathic tendencies cause him not to feel any remorse towards his victims. His next lore update, the third one overall, revises his story yet again, but holds on to the idea that he's a trained killer. In this story, he's a little more put together, but while he was a young recruit, his drill instructors and fellow trainees found that Teemo was normally charming and kind. However, he would turn deadly serious and highly efficient once combat exercises began. There's also a part here about how he's formed a friendship with Tristana, and tabloids were spreading rumors about how they might be more than friends, which is pretty weird. So much so, in fact, that in his most recent lore update, they just took out that part entirely. Also, just wanted to bring up a piece of now-defunct lore that involves Teemo from the Journal of Justice, an old lore device that took the form of a newspaper inside the world of Runeterra that started around 2010. In issue 23, someone had stolen balloons from a Vandal City bake sale which Teemo and Tristana had attended. The bake sale, by the way, is living evidence that Caitlyn's Yordle Snaptrap is a viable method of catching these battle hamsters. In issue 27, it turns out the culprit was none other than Vhagar, who had planned to use the balloons to steal the Vandal City mothership. As he was about to carry off his evil plan, Teemo had blown a dart into the balloon, which sent Vhagar plummeting into a tree outside the city. They really don't make stories like they used to. Teemo also appears in Legends of Runeterra, where his main mechanic revolves around planting poison puff caps. He also comes with a spell called Teemo's Mushroom Cloud, where the flavor text reads, first, the soft thump as the puff cap pops, next, searing debilitating pain, finally, the distant sound of giggles, which of course is a reference to his Noxious Traps, and the mouth-foaming anger you feel when the enemy Teemo types /laugh. Teemo's voice is as sugary sweet as a happy rodent can be. His original set of voice lines is pretty limited, but there's a lot of personality in the little that we do hear of him. It's because of his cute demeanor, combined with his smug aura, that inspired players to refer to him as an infernal spawn of evil. Teemo's cosmetics are simply fun costumes, or in the case of a couple, what-if scenarios with lore implications. The Little Devil Teemo skin really leans into the joke that Teemo is Satan himself. The skin's description does mimic a Bible verse, mentioning the light of the world fading from human memory, as all the evils once locked away rise again upon a wicked throne, the true Lord of Darkness seated thereon. Every living thing will know his wrath and be drowned in sin. The Omega Squad Teemo skin, on the other hand, taps into the effects of war on the psyche, as he's depicted here as a PTSD-inflicted soldier. The other Omega Squad skins show him before his mental breakdown, and the promo page of the skin shows that he's really gone off the deep end, as he seemingly killed and collected war trophies from the other champions. Really grim, but surprisingly on-brand given his lore and the inside jokes among the community. A quick mention goes out to Astronaut Teemo, which, yeah, it's cute, blah blah blah, but Riot also created a flash game called Astro Teemo for April Fool's 2013, which includes a sick-ass EDM track. I guess Teemo and April Fools are just a natural combination. Although his kit would remain consistent throughout his career, with no major overhauls or reworks so far, his early abilities are an entirely different story. Starting with his passive, Teemo's first innate was called Eagle Eye, which passively granted extra sight range. A good thematic fit, but otherwise fairly dull.